Hi, it's Trisha here from Everything Energetic, and I'm an animal communicator. And this video tonight is for those of you who maybe have been following me for a while, know a bit about how I work, or you're really curious about how I work and how come I'm different from other animal communicators. And especially this is for those of you who have had an animal communication session from me at some point. Animal owners come to me for a variety of reasons. Typically, they might come to me because their horse or pet's behaviour has changed in some way, and maybe it's frustrating them or annoying them or just perplexing them. They don't know why it's changed. Like maybe their cat was fine using the litter tray and all of a sudden it's not using the litter tray anymore, for instance. Maybe their dog is being naughty and it didn't used to be naughty in that way. Or their horse or pet isn't listening anymore. Maybe something just feels off. And maybe nothing else is working and they just can't figure out what's going on and they come to me. So typically, either owners have noticed something that's not right but can't figure out what it is, or they just they're looking for clarity on what is going on with their animal. But here's the thing. What the number one cause that I find when I'm doing animal communication sessions of what's going on with people's animals, regardless of species, is that their energy is out of balance. Now, that might sound a little bit on the woo-woo scale to some of you. What I would remind you there is we're all made of energy. We're all affected one way or another by energy, and our animals are no different from us in that respect. And so what I find is that with animals, they're very affected by negative energy, but they're also very easy to fix, if that makes sense. It's easy to change that and switch it around. In a lot of ways easier than humans, because we hang on to stuff, baggage, a whole lot more than animals tend to. So what I find is that if, when I first chat to your animal, and if you watched last week's video, you'll know that I like to measure things when I'm doing sessions. So I'll measure certain things at the beginning of a session and at the end of a session, like happiness or pain or overall health. If at the beginning of a session, I send you your report back and at the beginning it says happiness was 0 out of 5, don't take it personally. In all likelihood, it doesn't mean that you're making them unhappy. It probably means their energy is out of balance. And so that can be their energy field. That's the energy that is around them as an individual. And we all have this big kind of energy bubble around us, which can get dents in it, cracks in it, it can shrink, it can get unhealthy, it can get discoloured, different things like that. That might be a little woo for you, but energy can be on a scale of positive and negative. And if it goes towards the negative end of the scale, happiness is going to go down. Pain might go up. Overall health might go down. Because when we're out of balance energetically, we're out of balance full stop. It means that it's harder for us to maintain a happy demeanour. It's harder for us to fight off that little cold we've been getting or that flu that's going around. So don't worry too much if I tell you, oh, your dog wasn't very happy at the beginning of a session. Make sure you read through to the end, and invariably you will see those numbers change, and you'll see, yeah, happiness level has gone up. He's feeling much better. He's feeling more positive. He's feeling calmer, or whatever it is. So I hope this is making sense. Do ask questions in the chat box about this if you have any, or let me know if this is making sense to you. Let me know if it's way out of left field and you have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's see what we've got in the chat box so far. Hi to Adele and Siobhan and Fiona. Fiona says, my horses, cats, dogs, we're all moving house, hoping they'll be okay. I'm also feeding 14 wild cats. Wow. And I'm worried for them when I have to leave. Any suggestions? Gosh, it's difficult. I don't know what to tell you about the 14 wild cats. That's a tricky one, unless you can get someone else maybe to take over from you, or trap them in some way and get a rescue society to find homes for them or something. But for your cats and dogs, when you're moving home, perfect time to book a session with me. I'm not trying to just sell something here, but moving house is one of those things that can really affect our energy. Think about yourself. Think about how you're feeling about moving house. How many things are hard to think about? All the jobs you need to do. Is everything going to go okay? Are we going to get those papers signed in time? Am I going to like it at the new house? You know, all those questions you have. Your dogs and cats will be feeling all that energy from you. It might be anxiety, it might be stress, it might be frustration. It's unlikely, please tell me if I'm wrong, Fiona, it's unlikely that all they're feeling from you during this process is love and happiness, right? There's a lot going on when you're moving house. A simple thing you can do is make sure you tell them what's going on. Tell them why you're feeling the way you are. Tell them what's going to happen and how they fit into all of that. Assure them that, well, assuming this is the case, the whole family is moving house, we're all going together, we're all going to be living in this new place together. You can verbally tell them things like that. You can visualize the new place and send them that picture of here's where we're going to be living. If you don't feel able to do those things, contact me and book a session. It's really good to prepare them for what's going to happen and make sure their energy stays in balance so that they can cope with it and so that they settle easily. So that's quite a good example of just one thing that can really affect our energy if we're not aware of it, if we don't really think about it. Michelle says my live videos are great. Thank you, Michelle. That's very kind. Gillian says, hi, when you balance any of us, is it immediate? Yes. Yes and no. It can be immediate, but it can also start in advance and it can carry on afterwards. So quite often I get people say to me, you know, I'll email them back saying, oh, I've just spoken to so-and-so and here's the report of, you know, what happened. And they'll message me back and say, oh, I thought you know, maybe this is late afternoon or something. And I always send the report when I've just finished doing the session. And they might reply and say, oh, I thought you must have done it this morning, or I could have sworn you had done it yesterday because yesterday my horse all of a sudden started coming to me in the paddock, and he hasn't done that for months. You know, already there was a shift, and I hadn't actually done the session yet. Again, this relates to energy. I think that as soon as there is a contract between me and the owner, which is, you know, you booking a session, you paying for a session, there's an energy exchange. If I haven't worked with the animal before, you sending me that photo and me looking at it, it's now in my mind that I'm going to be working with that animal. And so subconsciously, or on some woo-woo level maybe, the energy starts doing its thing. The universe starts putting things into place. So I get those kind of comments fairly regularly that people think, gosh, I'm sure it started happening before you actually did the session. So immediate, maybe before, and it can go on afterwards too. If it's actual healing that I'm doing, it can carry on for, well, I don't know how long. How long is a piece of string? It kind of depends what's going on with the person or the animal. I do work with people as well. And what kind of healing I sent, what my intention was, that sort of thing. So I hope that answers your question, Gillian. Let's see. You're welcome, Fiona. I think that's all the comments at the moment. So I hope that makes sense. Stick any more comments in the chat box if you have any questions. So in summary, what I was saying was that to me, the number one cause, out with of, you know, there's an actual physical issue with your animal, like they've got an injury or they've got a known illness or disease or something. If it's just that something's not right, then the number one cause that I find of that is that their energy is out of balance. And so routinely in every single full animal communication session that I do, I check them physically, I check them energetically, and then I rebalance their energy, clearing any negative energy away and doing any healing that's required at that point as well. And because I'm measuring the levels of happiness or pain or whatever as I go along, I can see as I go or feel as I go that a shift is happening, that things are changing. I can feel that the animal is happier, for instance. So energy, really powerful. Don't take it personally. We all get out of balance. And it's a really good thing to check in on every now and then. I've got quite a few clients who get me to check on their animals or monthly or every 2 or 3 months, or you know, a set period of time regularly, because they know it keeps their animals in a really good place. And it's the same with us. So I hope that helps. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to put any comments or questions in the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them. And I will see you again next week for another Facebook Live question and answer, or whatever I come up with by then. And nice to see you. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.